And yes, we are live. Hello and welcome to the Clock End Talk, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Tez. You get me at Gooner Tez. You can get the show at The Clock End Talk. Those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, I've also diverted one of these streams to my punting page. Well, not mine, but, Andy and Kato and a couple of the boys. You know our admins, the Punting Pirates. So, we're going live to the Facebook group, so shout out to you boys as well. Them lads won't know these boys, but because we're usually an Arsenal podcast, but we are covering Euros at the moment. So I'll welcome in Tony. How are you, brother?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I didn't know we'd have him betters on. Now this feels like work.
Actually, Tony, you're going to join me for a podcast later in the year because those of you who don't know Tony, that's actually his job. So, I'm going to pick your brain on a couple of things on the Punting Pirate side of things as well.
Do I get a say in this? Because that's the first I've heard of it.
You get no say at all. It's part of your contract, mate. Check the terms and conditions. Toby, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, good to be back after last week.
It's good to have you back, buddy. And look, it was so good last week. I thought, I've got to get this bloke back, sure. And we haven't heard from our regulars. I have no idea where Addy is. I haven't even heard from that bloke since Arsenal finished the season. So I've got no idea where Addy is. And Jack pops in and goes, and I don't really hear much from him either. We're still waiting for our 3-2-1s, Jack, if you're listening to this. we have no idea where that is. Where'd we get up to, Toby? Me and you were doing reviews of these last games. We got through it's the 16. I'll start from the top, and we'll go Belgium, Portugal. Belgium got the win there. Now, this was an absolute shocking fucking round for having a punt on. Look, Portugal were about, the $3 mark for me. Belgium, Portugal weren't the favourites. Belgium were the favourites, but everybody was saying, look, Portugal can beat this Belgium team, Tony. Where are you? What do you think there on that game, buddy?
I think it played out sort of as expected, that Belgium were expected to win and did, but Portugal probably should have won. I thought they were better team on the day. So, that's basically the odds told you Portugal have got a chance, but Belgium should win, and that's what it was. It was, the amount of chances Portugal had, and Belgium didn't really have any. For me, the goal was a mistake. I thought it was really poor from Patricio. I know the ball moved, but when the ball goes in the middle of the goal, I don't care how much it's moved. If it goes bang slap in the middle of the goal, it's a keeper issue.
Yep.
Well, I actually thought it was a good game. I thought the first half was quite poor, and then the second half, because Portugal had to open up to try and get back in it. It was one of them, wasn't the best quality of football, but I think all of the last 16 games have been good because there's been something on the line. None of them have sort of been dead and buried after 20 minutes, and it is what it is. I think they've all been very good, and that was the first of them that was as I said, it was 1-0 and Portugal were pressing. There was the odd counter-attack from Belgium. I actually really enjoyed the second half. I thought the first half was shite.
Yeah.
And never underestimate Ronaldo. I actually, until the full-time whistle blew, I thought he's going to get an equaliser. He's just that kind of player.
It's basically been my motto for years, hasn't it? Whatever he's doing, don't bet against him. I'm not saying you have to bet for him, but you'd be an idiot to bet against him, basically.
No, exactly. Toby, you watched that game, buddy?
Yeah, I watched it. Probably agree with that. Probably expected more from Portugal, from both teams in the first half, and then it kind of came to life a little bit. Once again, I think it's just more hope than anything, not expectation about Ronaldo scoring and all Portugal going through. But Belgium knuckled down and got through the game in the end.
I'm going to follow the bracket down because, that now leads into, we've got Italy. Italy played, who'd they play? Austria. I wasn't convinced on that Italy performance, I'll be honest. It was a performance that I was thinking, a 3 4-1, maybe 3-0, something along now. I don't think Italy were as convincing as they got the result, but was it a fair result? I don't know. I think Austria were pretty unlucky on that game. Anyone watch it? Step up, boys.
Yeah, I watched it. I just went first on the last one, so I was going to let Toby, but I don't know.
Yeah,
If you didn't see it.
Yeah,
no, I did. I did. I watched it. So I watched it, but I was actually away, so I only caught the very tail end of the second half, and then into the extra time. At that point, so I don't have a full idea of how the game ebbed and flowed. But as I was watching it, I was I don't know. I thought that Austria definitely had a lot of chances that I didn't expect from them, and Italy weren't as kind of overpowering, and there's more quality that won over in my eyes. But I also wasn't in the best of states to give a full opinion on the game. So.
That's understandable, buddy. That's all I like that. I like it. Tony, what do you take out of that?
Yeah, I expected Italy to blow them away. As you said, 2 goals, 3 goals win. And it's Italy's worst performance by a mile in this competition. I mean, they breezed through the groups. I know they only beat Wales 1-0, but I think they made 8 changes, and they still pissed them, really. In the other games, they won pretty easily and looked very good. I don't know if they overlooked Austria, because as fans, we all did. And to be honest, in the second half, Austria were the better team. Italy didn't really create anything in the whole 90 minutes, especially. I don't think the Austrian keeper made a top draw save, or it wasn't like they were flooded with chances. And then they got the Chiesa goal was class, to be fair, in extra time. And then Austria had to open up a bit, and they still had chances at 1-0. Then Italy made it 2-0, and you thought, oh, well, this is dead, this done. And then Austria got one back, and again, the last 5-10 minutes after the goal, however long it was, were frantic. And I think, barring one game, they've all been like that. But Austria were very good, much better than they'd been in any other games. I think they got blew away by Holland, but really poor. Not great against North Macedonia either, but they were really good against Italy, and Italy were much worse. But I don't think that's at Italy's level. I think they maybe overlooked them or something, because it was such a drop off from Italy. They had 3 games where they looked like the best team in the tournament by a distance, really. And then that game where, like, if you had to play that Italy, you would go, oh, okay, I don't mind. Whereas the Italy that won the group, you'd be thinking, don't really fancy that.
Yeah, and Italy have been the form team for me in this competition so far, and that leads me to, well, I'll just go back quickly. I was in a chat somewhere on the lines. It might have been Schwinn. He was asking me about what do we see in Immobile, what do you see in Belotti? Was that you guys?
Schwinn, yeah.
Yeah, Schwinn, and I'll be honest. Look, that was not one of his best games. He got subbed off. Belotti came on. I said I don't rate Belotti at all. The striker from Torino, and I remember a few years ago, his value shot through the roof. I think. Look, and I apologise to the Italian Serie A fans out there, but I'm pretty sure he was leading goal scorer about 3 years ago, and I know his value went up to about 100 million pounds. Now, I don't know where that's at now. It's probably dropped down about 40, 50. His value has increased big time, but there's talks of him coming to Roma. Mourinho is now the manager at Roma, as they're my team. So, but I'm not a massive fan of him. I really don't think he does much. Immobile, I highly rate, but it just he didn't have a good game. I think I actually had him as a goal scorer in a bet. I also had Italy to win the game as well, but it was a really hard. Like, I wasn't convinced on this Italy team. Leading into Belgium now, they play Italy for final 8. How the fuck do you split that, Tony?
Yes. I can't see past Italy. I think De Bruyne and Hazard are both out. if they're not out, Belgium are trying to make it look like they are. They're not training with the team. So for me, when I last checked for the betting guys, Italy were priced at around 2.5. For me, that's a crazy price considering it's likely to be a Belgium without Hazard and De Bruyne.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Well, so they both went off injured in that game against Portugal.
Yep.
And as Belgium have said that they're not really badly injured. They could be back by the semis if they get there. So I think people are holding on. Are Belgium playing mind games and they're actually going to be available, but they're not training with the team. So you kind of got to go on. They're saying they're not available. They're not training. So you kind of have to assume they're not available. And if that's the case, then as I said, Italy have got to be huge favourites for me.
Yep.
But again, it depends though, because the group stage Italy is the huge favourites. The Austria Italy is not. But then you could say with Belgium that the Belgium that played against Portugal wasn't great. The Belgium that played against Denmark wasn't great. Was really lucky to get the win. But then, or do you go against the Belgium that are good, that got 9 points in the group? But for me, I think Italy are my pick for that game.
Yeah. I'm just getting a few comments coming through. Those of you on the group coming through on Punting Pirates, I can't see your name because you've got to give permission for this app to use your name because it's a private group. So that's the only reason. You'll see that it comes up my end as Facebook user. Belgium, Italy, like I said, I wasn't aware of the couple of injuries. I'll look at the team a little bit later before I even look at what I'm going to be betting on.
That's the worst
I agree.
way. It's such a bad way to bet.
I just don't. Look, Belgium. I don't know. I somehow I feel as though they can get it done, and we're looking at massive odds for the Belgium team. When I say massive, I looked at them opening price of $3.30. I'm not sure what that is in over there for you, Tony.
They're about 360 now.
Yeah, okay. So I was willing to have a stab at Belgium, but with them couple of players there, and I think Italy will have this in the bag.
Yeah, just while we're talking about Italy, I just want to take it a little bit of Arsenal. So Fabrizio has just said that we've made an offer for Locatelli. I'd heard earlier that was the case, but Juventus are also trying. From what I've seen, I'm a big fan, but Tez, you watch more Italian football than me. Any thoughts?
That's the guy Juventus let go, didn't he?
No, Juventus are trying to sign him. He's at Sassuolo. He was the one. So he got 3 goals in the group stage, and then they dropped him for Verratti, who is unbelievable. But now there's a case of will they bring him back in because with Verratti starting, they didn't look great, or will they find a way to accommodate them both?
2 holders against Belgium would make sense.
Yeah, what was the fee? Do we know, or
mid-30s is the rumours?
Is it? Can't be true. I'm sure. I thought we'd go for 40, 50. By the way that
they're the rumours when Juventus are looking, but Italian teams are weird. They don't tend to mug each other off.
It's strange, isn't it?
If players stay in Italy, there's not this premium of we say our Premier League premium or English tax. They don't have that in Italy because the players all stay there, so every player would be coming at a tax. It's just very rare for an Italian to leave Serie A.
I mean,
I think he'd be a perfect replacement, and I'm thinking we're talking Granit's going. I'm pretty sure that's happening. I look, this guy I don't watch where is he? Sassuolo. Yeah. I don't watch them week in, week out. So, it's hard for me to say I can break down what this guy is, but his market value does cruise up a fair bit. And I just had a look at we are talking a 35, 40 mil. I would have thought a little bit more. He's a young player. He's, international player. I think he's a good buy, especially if we're getting him at that price. Very good buy. Is he on par? I don't want to say is he on a par with Granit. I'm not going to sit here and say, who's the better midfield. They're both going to bring, he'll bring differences to what Granit brings. And, I think partnering up with Partey, he'll be good. He'll be good. So
Yeah.
There is
find it hard
another
to think
guy.
about
There is
this.
another guy who Juventus let go, and his name fucks me for the moment. I can't.
I don't know. Oh, just to add my penneth worth of team news. Apparently, Chiesa's starting on Friday, and is it Berardi is out? Don't quote me on the Berardi, but I think it was him.
Okay.
But Chiesa's meant to be coming in.
Okay, and that's why I've got to get
Smart
Tony
move,
on
that.
to the punting Pirates. A heap of comments coming through there on the Facebook as well, boys. Morning out to you all. Someone did say Italy will beat Belgium without De Bruyne or Hazard, and I think you're on the money there. I'll have a look who that was later. We'll move on now to the. Do you want to do a quick prediction, boys, as we're going?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking more about just the side between Belgium and Italy. And Belgium didn't, I mean, I haven't been impressed by Hazard at all for this whole tournament. I haven't seen him before the tournament. I didn't think he offered enough in terms of his attacking threat to be on the pitch when they've got other options there. I think obviously Kevin De Bruyne goes without saying on how much he can offer. But once again, kind of playing maybe beneath himself a little bit as well. So on the other side of things, I think that Belgium have at least a couple of players that could come in and maybe not replace De Bruyne, but definitely replace Hazard. I feel like Carrasco is way more effective for them than anything. But I'll go Italy. I think that their team, maybe the fact that they didn't have that third game, even though people saw it as such a positive, them making all those changes, that might have, maybe distracted them or kind of got them out of a flow where as most of the bigger teams who have been playing consistently well haven't made as many changes. But I think Italy will win. I'll go 2-1.
What do we think? Like, and I'm going to get onto the France match in a minute, and Mbappe has copped an absolute hammering. You did bring up Hazard there, and where are we with him? Like, I know he's out injured, but when he was at Chelsea, this guy was fucking brilliant. Now, I've a couple of Real Madrid mates say that he isn't the bloke that was at Chelsea, and I don't know, something has happened there. I don't watch much Spanish football. I tune in, to a couple of the El Clasico and a couple of games like that. Tony, you're all a little bit up more on the Spanish football than myself, but is he having a great season? Did he have a great season last year? Is he unhappy? Is his football down?
He's never been fit. He hasn't been fit the whole time he's at Madrid. I don't think he's played more than 3 games in a row or something stupid. He's just not fit. To be honest, I was told at the start of the Euros that they shouldn't really take him. Obviously, because of the 26-man squad they did, but they thought he was only going to be sort of playing 10 minutes here and there, and then maybe as it gets towards the later stages, then he would have built up enough time to sort of be back firing. I was really surprised when he started him in the third game. Well, obviously I knew the day before, but I was surprised because that goes against what they were saying before the tournament started. So they're obviously trying to build him up. I agree his level in the tournament and his level for the last 2 years hasn't been the Eden Hazard we expect. I just think, I get what Toby's saying, but I think if you're a defender and you see Eden Hazard against you, you've got that extra bit of fear factor because you know what he can do. Whereas Carrasco, I like Carrasco and I wanted us to sign him a few years ago, but I don't think anyone thinks, fuck this, I'm playing against Carrasco. Whereas Hazard, you think, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, he could do this. He hasn't done it for a long time, but he could do this. Like, and I think that's, you get it all the time. Like, it's why it's why Harry Kane's playing for England. He's either not fit or they're signing up with him, but defenders are always wary because it might only be a half fit Harry Kane, but it's still Harry Kane. And that's, I just think the Italians will sleep a bit easier knowing that they don't have to play against potentially both Hazard and De Bruyne.
Who do they bring in? Who comes in? I'm trying to look at their squad. Who they got?
Mertens and Carrasco probably.
Carrasco, yeah, okay, yeah, he's not bad.
Well, so Mertens come on for De Bruyne, and that was basically at half time. So you've got, and they were 1-0 up at the time as well. So if anything, you'd think they're more likely to make a defensive change, and they didn't. So you have to say Mertens looks like the most likely to come in. And then, you look wide, and if Mertens is playing instead of De Bruyne, he won't be playing wide. So Carrasco becomes the only option, really. Unless, I know they've got Daka, but for me, I've never been impressed with him. I know he comes with quite a big reputation, but I don't think I've ever seen him play well. So I think you go for the tried and tested. Carrasco's played in Champions League finals and Europa League finals and all of the above. So I think World Cup semi-finals. So I think they go Carrasco and Mertens in. Which, look, they're both good players. I love Mertens, but they're not Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
Very true.
I just had to have a look who this Facebook user was, and it's Rob, a mate of mine, and he's got a podcast called The Football Thing as well, and he is Italian, so he is going to be back in Italy with everything he has. You're still Italy though, Tony. We haven't convinced you. Yeah?
No, I'm Italy. I've got money on it.
Yeah. I'm Italy as well. I was in the group after that game, and I was like, oh shit. After the Austria game, and I was like, Italy just did not look convincing to me. I think I'm going to go Belgium, but I think I'm Italy as well on this. You boys I think you've convinced me. Okay, let's move on to France and the Swiss now. And I'm just going to touch on a comment that Sam mentioned. Does the fact Granit is going to Roma soften the blow for you, Tez? Absolutely it does. Because if you went to Inter or Milan or some other fucking shit team, he can go and fuck himself. He'd be nothing but a little fucking blonde-haired cunt. Okay, so I'm liking the fact that Granit's going to Roma, and this for me, boys, was the Granit show. Oh, and you could throw in Pogba as well. They were both fucking outstanding, Tony.
I mean, this is a game of the tournament, and anyone that doesn't think that is wrong, basically. Unbelievable game, and I kind of disagree with you. Granit was amazing. I thought Pogba was unbelievable, and that's the Pogba that Man United fans think they have, and it's not. They have a different guy. But I even tweeted when it went to penalties, if there's any justice in the world, I don't really care who wins, but they both score their penalties because it was nothing more than they deserved. And obviously, Granit didn't end up taking one, and Pogba did score his, but. Yeah, just an incredible performance. I wouldn't be so sure on Granit's going to Roma, to be honest, because they've been haggling over the price for so long, and maybe it's leaks from Arsenal side, but since that performance, there's been 2 or 3 more teams linked to him. Again, it could be leaks from Arsenal, but Roma basically for the last 2 weeks have refused to pay more than 12 million and 3 million in add-ons, and that performance has done Roma no fucking favors.
No.
Look, hopefully from an Arsenal point of view, and I couldn't care less about Roma, unlike you, I hope it provides a bidding war and he goes to whoever's willing to pay the most. So I couldn't care less who they are.
Even still, I'm a fan of both. I think 12 million is fucking low. I really do.
It's a joke.
I think it's ridiculous
because he wants to go, so it makes things hard. But it's going. I mean, not to make it the Granit Xhaka show because you might get too excited. Great performance from the Swiss. Great performance. And good performance from France as well, to be fair. They just switched up. Well, they were shit in the first half. Then they turn it in that 20 minutes when they turn it on. Like, I'm convinced France are the best team in the world. And I've said that. I predicted them to win the tournament and so on. But that 20 minutes performance, and I thought, fucking hell, that's why everyone thinks they're good. I was watching that and I thought, this team won't be beaten. And then they switched off again. It was crazy. And look, fair play to Switzerland. They dug in. Should have been 2-0 up, really. Missed the penalty and were really good. I think Seferovic is awful. I've said that a million times. And he scored 2 fucking class headers. Played really well. I've seen him play a million times. I don't think I'd ever seen him score. Like, he's one of them. I've seen him play loads and I could never say what he was good at. Turns out really good in the air. And then that Gravanovic that got the third. I'd never heard of him until the tournament, if I'm honest. And every time I've seen him, I thought, fuck me, this guy looks amazing. And a great goal, a great ball by Granit. Good turn. He left Kimpembe, left him for dead, and good finish. And then the whole way through extra time, you're thinking, don't score, I want penalties, don't score, I want penalties. I know when Coman hit the bar with the last kick of the 90, I don't think anyone wanted it to go in because the game was so good. what everyone I know just wanted another 30 minutes. Like, it wasn't I don't want France to win thing, even though most people didn't. It was I need 30 minutes more of this. And obviously Coman hit the bar, but yeah, I mean, it's just an unbelievable game. The whole day was good, but for me, that game was just a joke because it was top draw as well. I know we're going to go into it after, but the Spain game had loads of goals and loads of like changing in momentum, but I didn't think the quality was that great of the game, of the football. Whereas the French game, I thought it was top draw, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a
really
good game.
Of football.
It really was. Your thoughts on Mbappe, and I'll go to you in a minute, Toby, but because he absolutely copped the hammering here, and you know, we're talking the Mbappe of the World Cup, who everybody went, wow. He was at Monaco. He then, you know, signed a deal with PSG, and probably I would all say, you know, he's one of the best players that I've witnessed, as well as, you know, obviously Messi, Ronaldo, and stuff. But he is a fucking brilliant player. However, Mbappe at PSG, is it choking his football? Does Mbappe need to go to somewhere else for a bigger challenge? And you know, is he too laid back at PSG? Like, they're a club with not much competition there. Like, he copped it over this tournament because I don't think he scored a goal all tournament.
No, he didn't score.
No, I don't even know if he got an assist, but you know, that's Mbappe is there to score, I guess. He's that kind of player. But the razzle-dazzle football that we've seen in the World Cup from Mbappe, we didn't really see it, but did he choke a little? I don't know. You know, he copped the hammering. He's copped the hammer in the last couple of days.
Yeah, look, as you said, you have Mbappe in the team and you expect him to score goals. And I'm not putting it down to being at PSG because he had a half-decent season. I know the club didn't have a good season, but his individual season wasn't too bad. Was pretty good. I think he still won the Golden Boot. Yeah, look, he just, by normal standards, he didn't have a bad tournament, but he's not looked up to normal standards. It's like if Messi scored 15 goals in a season, you'd say it's had a bad year for a normal player. You go, it's decent. And that's the thing. Mbappe's got them heightened expectations because of what he's done before, and he didn't live up to that. I mean, look, he was still always dangerous. But yeah, didn't have a good tournament. And when your team who are expected to win it go out, you've not scored and you missed the decisive penalty, you're going to get hammered. It don't matter who you are. Even I'd go as far to say, like, Pogba was probably their best player throughout the tournament. But had he missed the winning penalty, he'd probably be getting hammered. They go, he lost the ball for the third goal. He celebrated 15 times for one goal. Hell of a goal, to be fair. And then he misses the penalty. Pogba's this, Pogba's that. We've seen it for Man United. So I just think, as I said, if you lose and don't get where you're expected, don't score in the whole tournament, and then miss the decisive penalty, it's only going to end one way, unfortunately for him. But he'll come back.
Toby, your thoughts, France?
Well, France and Mbappe. I think I was really disappointed with France for, maybe it was the commentators, maybe it was them kind of moaning about them, but the way they were playing in the first half, you know, people blame the back three. I'm not too tactically aware about how they were suffering under the back three, but you can tell, like, the impetus that Switzerland had throughout that whole game. The fact that they had chances, the fact that they were leading, the fact that they had plenty of chances to go two ahead before even the pen chance as well, which they had in the second. So I was really disappointed with France. Obviously, super happy. I think it's always good to see either a big team go out, but also France. I don't know if it's just me, but we don't hate the French, but it's always fun to see France maybe not do as well as they'd hoped. I think for Mbappe, he didn't play well. We did get an assist, but I probably want to open it up more to the question of, is it the system that France were playing that hasn't allowed Mbappe to kind of flourish like he was in the World Cup, where Giroud was doing a lot of work, you know, holding the ball up for him, laying off passes, whereas it was more free flowing between the front three this time. All did jobs, you know. Benzema, incredible, but is that anything really to do with it? The way that France was set up over and above this quality? For
me, and I think I've said it pretty much for the last 10 years, the only team that can ever beat France is France. And I mentioned it before the tournament. I picked them to win it, but I said if they keep falling out in the camp, which they did again, then that's going to be their problem. And I agree, Giroud is not glamorous, but he helps the others to thrive. Whereas Benzema's obviously a better player, but more of a player for Benzema than Giroud's more selfless. And I said them two fell out, or Mbappe and Giroud fell out. Rabiot always falls out of everyone. His mum's fallen out of everyone. I mean, I
saw
don't know
that.
if you
That was really funny.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's just not a harmonious camp, and it never has been. And when it is, they win things. That's how France work. But yeah, I mean, Rabiot's mum's always been outspoken, and he's had problems before. But you can't have some player's mum coming out saying this guy's too greedy. This guy keeps giving the ball away and just cares about his hair and his dancing. I mean, that's not a team. And I think Deschamps did fuck up going to a back five and then playing, even when they went to a back four, keeping Rabiot at left back where he's never played was just bizarre. But look, them players, as I was listening to someone the other day, I can't remember who it was, and they were saying that we can talk about changes in the defence all you want. That they still had three of their first four, like their first back four. So it's one name that really, and that shouldn't make that much of a difference. But I just think with France and Mbappe to an extent, if it's a happy camp that ain't fighting each other all the time, they don't lose really. But can you keep the French camp happy? And we've seen a lot of times over the last 10, 15, 20 years, the answer tends to be no.
Benzema had a good tournament, I thought. I think he got about 4 goals, which was good.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And he wasn't in their World Cup campaign.
No, he hasn't been in. He hasn't played for 6 years.
Yeah, well, so he had a good tournament, very good tournament.
But was it worth it? Because that's what made the Giroud and Mbappe falling out happen.
Yeah.
But again, it's unfair. I'm not blaming it on Benzema because it's not his fault. But it's made the camp there's no harmony there by bringing him back in. So it's always been this trouble with them. You bring in the better player, but if it causes issues elsewhere, is it worth it?
Yeah, and I just assumed that it wouldn't be. You know, following his kind of fall out of the France team, I didn't think it'd ever go back. So, but I haven't been following it enough in recent times. Obviously, his quality shines through, but exactly like you say, Tony, is it worth? And it's a managerial problem, isn't it? And it's something that I know Gareth Southgate's considered a lot of, and I've heard him speak a lot about, is that harmony in the camp. I just assume that other countries would have got that message as well by now. But I only saw the stuff about Benzema and all the background stuff after it happened, after the loss. I saw the stories coming out, but I kind of just considered them to be maybe hearsay or bollocks, just to try and unsettle nerves or just do what the press do, make stuff up. But are you taking it all as gospel, as in all the stories about the French camp actually being true?
Well, it's just happened time and time again, so I think you kind of have to. I mean, obviously, I think Benzema's going to be in court either this year or next year over the Valbuena stuff. So it's obvious that's happened. You don't get banned from a national team for 6 years for hearsay.
Yeah.
And then Giroud obviously before the tournament came out and said Mbappe doesn't pass to me as much as he's passed to Benzema, which that was then proven by Benzema coming back in. So Giroud might have thought that for years, he doesn't pass to me a lot, but he might have just thought, you know what I mean, that's kind of his style and fair play, he does his thing. Now you see Benzema come in and Mbappe pass to him all the time, then you kind of take that personal. You know what I mean? Like, if someone doesn't talk to you, you might just think, they're a quiet guy. But then if they start being the loudest guy in the room with everyone else, you're like, okay, now they've just got a problem with me. And Giroud was probably wrong to air that. But again, this whole problem starts from Benzema being back there. And it's not in that case, it's not Benzema's fault. But it's just bring to the surface problems that were probably already there. And as I said, Giroud's not done the best thing making it public, because then Mbappe called a press conference to defend himself. And these are all like facts that the public can see. Yeah. So we saw the interview of Giroud saying that. We saw Mbappe call a press conference, which is like fucking unheard of on the eve of a tournament.
Crazy.
So it comes from there. And as I said, when we was doing our predictions, we bring that up. Like, for me, France should be unbeatable unless they're playing themselves. And as I said, they just time and time again. How many times have we seen it with France? They play themselves.
A lot of new faces around as well who you probably don't have it, Tony, but I'm just going to shout out to the guys at Punning Pirates. Yous are now aware a bet will end in a draw after the 90 minutes. The last 16 took, everybody's going, oh, fuck the hell, they won in extra time, and Spain also done it as well. But no, your bet is classed as a draw. Moving on, Croatia.
You can use it to qualify market, but you get worse odds.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, the qualify market too, yeah. Croatia, Spain. Now, I didn't watch this game, boys, so I'm just going to go on your thoughts on the game. I looked at the score and I thought, oh shit, 3. It finished a draw, didn't it? 3-3, and then it went in extra time, and I was a little bit confused. And there's 6 minutes injury time as well, which kind of threw me. I thought, oh fuck. What do you guys take out of this game?
I kind of touched on it earlier. I didn't think the quality of the game was that good, but the excitement was top drawer because Croatia went 1-0 up with one of the most ridiculous own goals you'll ever see. Then Spain went 3-1 up and it looked done, but Croatia were kind of still making chances, but not. You know what? You kind of thought it was done. I think it was the 87th minute. It's funny. I was kind of just getting ready to sort of go out and thought, I'm done with this. And luckily, I just hadn't turned my TV off. I was probably 10 seconds away from turning my TV off, and Portugal scored. It was given by Croatia scored. It was given by goal line technology as well. So that's kind of a bit more drama. And then you're like, okay, fuck now, game on. There's 3 minutes plus 6 stoppage time. And Spain, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I think twice in stoppage time, they were caught like 4v3 defending when all they need to do was not concede. And they win, and it was like they were bombing forward. I don't know what they were doing, and obviously Croatia got their goal, and it took it to extra time. And then I think the quality, saying that, Croatia had a couple of chances in extra time as well, missed 1 or 2 good chances, and then Spain went down the other end and scored, and then Croatia needed to push out, and then the 5th came, and that was it. Unfortunately,
did it just open up in the last 10 minutes or something?
Because moments before Croatia scored. Like they did nothing the whole game. I personally thought, but moments. I remember a friend of mine coming over just before that, thinking, "Oh, is it close?" I was like, Croatia didn't look like creating any chances. Spain looked quite solid in a way, and then they just seemed to just open up, and then it didn't stop. Then I thought they were quite open in the extra time as well, but. Yeah, the quality of the goal.
Enrique's got this obsession with subbing centre backs. He keeps doing it, and at 3-1, comfortable. Like I'm not a fan of Eric Garcia. I don't think he's very good. Obviously, a lot of teams do because City tried to keep him and Barcelona signed him. So, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't rate him. But 3-1 up, cruising, took him off, bring on Pau Torres, who for me is a better player. But when you're comfortable, unless someone's injured, don't change your fucking centre backs. Like. Unless there's a reason, you never change your centre backs, and he did. And then suddenly they couldn't deal with balls into the box brilliantly. It's weird because they're two best, Laporte and Pau Torres for me, and I think most people would agree. But they both play left centre back, and I think what Enrique was trying to do is, I'll test one of them at right centre back when we're 3-1 up and cruising. But at 3-1, it only takes one goal, and then they shit themselves, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
It was just messy. But I don't enjoy watching Spain. I think they keep the ball for no reason a lot of the time, and not much happens. At least that was enjoyable because there was the jeopardy of a goal down, 3-1 up, 3-3, 5-3. Like it was an exciting game. But I mean, saying that, look, I'm half Spanish, and if they win it, then I'll be full Spanish. But yeah, I'm not. I don't really like it.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Fence sitter if I've ever seen one.
No, don't get. I am English at all times. I couldn't care less about Spain unless they win something.
They ain't winning this, that's for them sure. Sorry.
Morata's value goes up, boys. He got a goal.
Ooh, does it?
Do you know? I half feel sorry for him. Because everyone hammers him. Everyone you speak to will tell you he's the worst striker on earth. His international record is 1-2, which is very, very good. And in this tournament, it's 1-2, which look, that's never going to win you a golden boot. That's a fucking solid record. The frustration with him is he probably should have fucking 3-1 every game, the amount of chances he gets. But he does a lot of donkey work. Look, is he world class? No. But the amount that you hear people taking a piss out of him, like you hear pundits that hear like Robbie Savage going, "Oh, Morata's missed again," and you think, "Fuck off! You've got 2 goals in your international career, you prick." Like you're talking about the guy that's got 1 in 2, which is a top record. Plays for all the big clubs, been at Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Juventus, and you've got Robbie Savage of fucking Leicester and Derby, Blackburn, and no one fucking else trying to dig him out. You think, fucking give it a rest.
He has a big problem,
he is. He's one of them guys. Morata. I feel I got no idea who you're talking about because I don't hear that pundit. Morata for me, he's just unlucky, and I think of it with Tim Werner at Chelsea now. Like, is it the Chelsea curse? Because he was meant to be the next best thing as well, and
told you he was shit
Chelsea, and just same things happened. I don't know. I've had him down as goal scorer. I think the criticism came, was it the one of the group games he missed the penalty? I think it was.
Yeah,
he missed a lot. He missed a lot.
There was it 2 penalties? Was it or something? Yeah,
no, 1. No, they missed the penalty. They've missed 2. Gerard Moreno missed 1. He hit the post against Poland. And then Morata missed 1 against Slovakia or Slovenia or whatever one they played.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so they play the Swiss play Spain. Who are we on here, boys?
I would say as in Swiss versus Spain. I mean, it's a Swiss team turn up. I feel like they've got better and better and better. I remember watching them in the first game against Wales, and they should have beaten Wales, and they ended up kind of blowing it for a draw. I think they've been more and more impressive, but I also don't think they've got enough. As much as I think Spain have been quite annoying to watch, and in terms of their effectiveness in front of goal, they're passing it. But saying that, they scored 5 goals against Croatia.
Well, just looking at the odds there, Spain are very well favourites. I presume they are over there with you boys. At 550, I'm hearing you. Like, they're bloody fucking good odds. Like this Switzerland team aren't as bad as that. I don't feel, but yeah.
I mean, this is
they drew with them in November. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like doing a little bit of research here as I go. So because it's hard when you put on the spot. They won 1 in November. Spain beat them in October. Whether that form is much to go by, I don't know.
I think Spain's quality does shine above Switzerland, but I wasn't expecting them to play like that against France. But they've played better every round than the previous round, which can't be said for pretty much any team. So I'd go Spain, but I think it'll be a lot closer than possibly I would have said at the beginning of the tournament.
Yep. Draw is the other option. Yeah, I'm just looking here, 24,000 votes here, and we've got 31% saying draw, 29 on Spain, 40 on the Swiss. So people are backing the Swiss, and I think people are backing the $5.50, Tony. That's what I think's happening.
That's madness. I think Spain win pretty comfortably because stylistically it's horrible for Switzerland. They're not a team that sort of hits you on the break, 1 chance, 1 goal. As I said, I've mentioned Seferovic is not a chance a goal man. They'll play only him up top. Obviously, players like Xhaka, who's been their star man, thrives on having a lot of the ball, and they just won't have a lot of it. So they're not really like a counter-attacking team. Yeah, I just think it'll be death by possession. It might. I fancy Spain to win comfortably. It might be, in terms of a scoreline, it might only be 1 goal, but I can see it being 1 or 2 goal win. But where Switzerland just are starved of possession and don't do anything really, like sort of 70% possession for Spain. And even if they're just fucking about passing it around, Switzerland won't have enough of the ball to be able to do anything, is what I think will happen.
Sam comments, I agree. Spain have warmed into the tournament, but when they've come up against organised defensive structure, they've struggled to break them down.
That's what I think the game will be, but I just can't see Switzerland. As I said, they're not a one chance, one goal. And if they're trying to play on the breaks, Seferovic isn't quick enough to be that. Shaqiri has got quality, but he's not quick enough. None of their, do you know what I mean? They've not got blistering pace anywhere in the team, really. Mbolo could have an effect, but again, he's not the most clinical.
Mbolo.
So, for me, as I said, I see maybe a tight scoreline, but a comfortable Spain victory in terms of what you actually are watching.
Yeah, on the field, it should be a 3-0, but you're thinking a 1-0 kind of thing, because of that reason. Spain, they will starve them of the ball. I totally agree with that. I don't think Granite has 2 good games in a row is the other thing. How many times have we seen it at Arsenal? And I he's good, but he was good then. But I'm just trying to think. The Swiss, who else they got there?
Win the squad.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if they got anybody else there that, Shaqiri, well, I don't think he's had a good tournament. This is my problem with the Swiss is I don't know where their goals come from.
You would say Mbolo, but he's actually got quite poor in front of goal, isn't he?
Well, in all fairness to them, they've kind of taken it in turns. So Mbolo was very good against Wales. He was best player on the pitch by a mile. Then they were all shit against Italy, like the disgraceful performance, to be honest.
Yep.
Then against Turkey, Shaqiri turned it on, played really well.
He
got
did.
2.
That's right. He did. Yeah.
And then this game, Seferovic has got 2, and Granit's been the man of the match. So they have shared them around, which is maybe better than having a bagsman who is going to get all your goals because, in theory, you stop them and you stop the team. But yeah, as I said, Swiss are like how you view Switzerland as a country. They're just kind of solid. They're never going to be the best at anything. They're just, do you know what I mean? It's like, the Swiss is safe, and it's like I was really shocked when Italy battered them. I said to people like, Italy are the favourites, but Swiss never. No one battered Switzerland ever. They're a better team than people give them credit for. And then I said that, and then Italy battered them. So what do I know? But that's how I see this game. I don't see Switzerland going down 3 or 4-0, but I see them maybe having less than 2 shots on target, sort of thing.
This is probably a good one to have a go at that market. Spain qualify to go through to the next round because it could be very much a 0-0 draw. Like we're talking Morata 1 in 2. Well, is this the one that he doesn't score? Because he scored last game, and it's just I don't know.
I would if I had to have a bet on it, which I'm not, so don't take this as financial advice or any of that bullshit. I would go Spain and under 2.5 would be my bet. Yeah. Spain.
I'm on Spain. I just don't know which other I include in it. So, okay, boys, moving over to Sweden and Ukraine. This, for me, was an upset. I don't know how you fellas... I probably should have seen it coming because Sweden, without Ibra, we all thought that, where the goals are going to come from. I thought Sweden have been pretty solid in the tournament. They've had a good tournament. Ukraine has had a great tournament. I just didn't see this coming, though.
I watched the England game in the pub, and then this was on after. So... My memory of this game is it's coming home 1,000 times. And every time I looked up, Forsberg hit the bar. That was pretty much what happened. Yeah. I've watched the highlights this morning, actually. So I've got half an idea. In terms of a shock, it was. Sweden have been good. They obviously won Spain's group. I think Ukraine had been poor. They were good for 5 minutes against Holland and got 2 goals. And then they beat Macedonia. I think it was only 1-0, wasn't it? Or only by 1 goal?
They did.
I can't remember, but I did watch it, and I didn't think they were overly impressive. And then it was by 1 goal. It was 2-1. And then they lost to Austria, obviously. So I don't think they've been brilliant. As I said, I didn't watch the full 90 of this. As I said, Forsberg hit the post and the bar about 88 times. And then there was a goal against 10 men in the last minute of stoppage time and extra time. Very good win for Ukraine. I would have expected Sweden to go through. Fair play to Ukraine, but I'm not going to give you an in-depth analysis apart from my
No. And look, I only, like you, I caught a mini match of this game, which is about 20 minutes. So, as a extended highlights package as well. But I can't really go in depth. But Sweden, I'll be honest, they surprised me. I had Sweden down to win. I didn't think Ukraine would get the victory. I don't know how I even feel about this Ukraine team. And I'll get on to you boys in a minute on your thoughts on the next game because you do meet them. Toby, what was your take on? Did you see that game? Anything you wanted to add there?
So really just to add, I had a very similar experience to Tony.
Let's face it, you boys were blind fucking drunk. Let's face it, you were blind fucking drunk. He's had no interest in this game at all because because it's not coming home.
One thing,
all you whinging cunts would have been sitting in the pub. It's coming home. Oh, fuck me. What a boring night that had been.
Well, I was drunk enough to think that we possibly might get past this round at least and get into the semis. Don't want to not knock on wood or anything. I dare not. But we're watching this game with a bit of interest, but it was quite dull. For me as an outsider, not paying too much attention to it. I think I paid more attention coming up to the end of coming up to the end of the game, just before the tackle. That was, I don't know, it's kind of splitting opinions strangely for me, but after the tackle, after that red, after seeing it in slow-mo and everything, I thought it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad to watch, at least, anyway. I
can't watch it. Like as I said, I watched the highlights this morning, and I hate tackles like that. I turn away. I can't. Like they showed it about 10 times. I'm like, all right, I've seen it once. Like just skip it. But I understand where people are coming from. Like I think it's a red card, but I get where people are coming from. That he went for the ball, he got the ball, and also slow-mo. I don't think tackle should ever be played in slow-mo, and I've said that on here about Arsenal, about other teams, because it doesn't do anyone any favors. Especially it doesn't do the defender any favors. But I can't say I started paying attention after that. I was in the pub and I saw someone had been sent off, but I didn't know it was a horrendous tackle because the tackle didn't happen in my beer. And then, as I said, I watched the highlights this morning and was like, oh, that's what he got sent off for. Yeah, fair enough.
It was nasty. But
this was a multi-killer for everybody. And just to give you an idea, nobody is always right. 45,000 votes. 71% had Sweden, 18% draw, 11% had Ukraine. Shout out to you 11% who had Ukraine because they were about $8.50 at the time, I think, when I looked. $3.30.
That would have been someone else. I was going to say, no way.
There was someone else at $8.50. But anyway, they got the money. They then go on to meet you boys in the quarterfinals. However, I'm going to let you have your moment. I'm going to go and get a drink, talk about England, Germany. I'll be back in 5.
Is it coming home?
Oh, go on, Tez.
As I said, Tony asked me this at the start. He said, is it coming home? Mate, you boys have fucking the easiest run now, right? You either got Czech or Denmark. I don't know who'll win there. Okay, I'm thinking Denmark should get the results there. You guys should beat Ukraine. You go on and play Denmark. You should be too good for Denmark. You should be in the final. If you come up against Italy in the final, that's probably a worry. Spain is probably a worry as well. I don't know. You're going to get to the final. You're going to get to the final.
All right. As a neutral, did you watch the England game? Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually was on at 2 a.m. and I watched the second half, not the first half, actually.
As a neutral, what did you think of the England performance?
Look, I think yous have got at the moment, from what teams are left in this comp, I think you boys are the best team left in this competition at the moment. If it's the Italy team who played Austria, if it's the Italy team out of the groups, I think then that's you're pretty close match to match. But mate, you just come out and beat Germany 2-0. Like,
see, look,
you can't take that away from you.
So for me, there's obviously a massive amount of bias and a massive amount of booze involved in this. I thought we were fucking excellent yesterday. And look, everyone knows, or not everyone, but people listen, I hate Southgate, like with a passion. But he got everything right. And I honestly, I thought we were excellent. We had goals change games, and they had a couple of moments. They had the free kick early on when Rice fouled, I think it was Muller. Then obviously the Muller chance just after we scored. And look, they would have completely changed the game, but I didn't. I never really felt threatened, to be honest. I just thought we kind of controlled the game. Yeah, it would have been nice to see us a bit more attacking and a bit more free flowing, but you can't do that every game and go and beat everyone. As France as a great example of that. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really good performance, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd echo
Go on,
that.
Toby.
Yeah, I'd echo that. It definitely, I think it ebbed and flowed throughout the game. Like the first 10, I don't think we played as poorly in the first. Well, I personally thought we played horrifically poorly in the first 10 minutes. Like Rice and Calvin Phillips looked like headless chickens. And it might have been to do with what they've been asked to do. It might have been to do with how our centre-backs were kind of running forward and leaving gaps because we had 3 instead of 2. I thought we calmed down quite a lot and quite quickly. And then the rest of the first half, I thought, as much as we didn't make a lot of clear-cut chances, I didn't feel as nervous as I did at the beginning. And I don't think that Germany looked as potent. I thought all the players kind of conducted themselves well. Around a bit, I thought Saka had and Sterling, in fact, at that point, were having the only good games out of anyone on the team, like noticeably outside of the defenders. But I was really impressed with us and how we kind of grew into the game and continued to do that. And the chances just before half time, I actually went to the loo and missed the Kane chance and watched it back. And it would have been good to score before then. But wow, I was really impressed with them and definitely had beer goggles on for sure. And still kind of on a high watching highlights today, like a couple of sets of highlights, just listening to all the crowds and everything was really good. But yeah, I'm really impressed with England. Thought Maguire had a really good game. For obviously Grealish came on to change the game, and at that point I was quite disappointed. I was expecting Kane to leave. I thought he looked really lethargic and a bit out of his depth, really. I couldn't really work out exactly why he was on the pitch, and I think a lot of pundits and a lot of my mates were kind of on a similar vibe. And got to praise Gareth for not taking him off and bringing on someone a bit more mobile to link the midfield with the attack, and that was Jack Grealish. So I thought I was both disappointed with Saka coming off, but impressed with Grealish and the way he played.
Grealish, he was brilliant. Yeah, he's got to be in your starting lineup for every game from here on in now. He cemented his place there. And if Southgate doesn't see that, well, fuck me. Like,
do you know what? I actually think it's difficult because if we stay with a back 5, I think Grealish, Saka was fucked when he came off. I thought he was really good in the first half and he was too tired to do anything in the second half and came off after 65 or whatever it was. But then I think Grealish gets a bit more space because of Sterling. I thought Sterling was fucking excellent. I've seen people go, "Oh, he was shit, he just scored." I thought he was the best player on the pitch by an absolute mile. But I think Grealish got extra space because of the work Saka and Sterling done early. And I don't see where you start Grealish in a back 5. Not in the back 5, obviously, but I mean, if you're playing a back 5, say you put him in for Saka, which would be the obvious answer, it doesn't stretch the defence and it makes us really narrow because it would mean him basically playing like a 10 and then you get no attacking. So Sterling would have to tuck in and become more like a 2 with Harry Kane. And then it just relies so much on the fullbacks. I think we'll go back to a 4 on the Saturday and then Grealish has to play. There's no...
Agreed.
There's no doubt about that. In a 5, look, on ability, for me, probably fucking the best player in the squad. But I find it really hard where to place him if we're going to play a 5.
I think that's a worry for a later round. Really, I can't expect Gareth to come out with a 5 against Ukraine.
I think we'll stay. I think we'll stay with a 4. Saying that, he did in the World Cup. He stayed with a 5 the whole time, and we beat even against Panama, against Sweden. We stayed a 5 the whole time, and they weren't great either team. Well, Panama definitely weren't. So I don't know. I mean, personally, I would go back to a 4 now and not change it. If we're playing Denmark or Czech, I would stay with a 4. Obviously, if we beat Ukraine, I'd go with a 4 against Ukraine, and then obviously you deal with the final if and when we get there. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays with 5 because it's always worked for him.
I look at the odds, boys. I look at the votes. Is it fair to say what you see there? $1.40 for England, $8.50. I knew somebody was $8.50 for Ukraine. 17,687 votes, 19% Ukraine, 45% say the draw. We're at $4.50. England, 37% say you can win. I can't believe that. What I'm reading.
I don't know where this. I don't know where this website's finding people because odds are based on what people are backing. So if there was only 37% of people backing England, they wouldn't be 1.4. It's simple. Like
this is an app. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should mention where I am getting these from. Footmob.com, and it's also an app on your phone. So basically, when you look at the game, you know you can vote who wins.
What
it's actually not betting.
But so I mean, people aren't backing in that ratio because England wouldn't be 1.4 if they were. Look, for me in this game, the only thing that can beat England is complacency. There was rumours today, people going, "Oh, we should rest players for the fuck that." Our strongest players play, but that's I think for me, and I don't want to sound too cocky or arrogant or whatever. The only way we can be beat is if we look ahead. Oh, what's going to happen against Denmark or Czech Republic? Fuck that. 100% focus on Ukraine. Your best players play. Your fittest players play. No one gets a rest. Maybe look, if you're 3-0 up after 60 minutes, then rest people by all means. But start of the game, you go out as if this is the final. And that's every game from now on. Like if we get to the semis, if we get to the final, Ukraine, they are one-off games that are finals. We didn't in the World Cup. We didn't get Sweden, who was a bit of a soft touch for a quarterfinal, and think we'll rest players. No, fuck that. Go and kill them. End the game in 60 minutes if you can, and then get your rest. But this talk of we can afford to sort of give Chilwell his first minutes. Nothing against Chilwell. I like him. But if Luke Shaw's your number 1 left back, Luke Shaw plays. I would understand bringing Mount back in because pre-COVID, Mount was in the team. So that'd be a change, but it's not resting anyone. It's going back to what he thinks is full strength. But people going, "Oh, do you give Sterling a rest?" No, fuck that.
I don't get that impression at all. I haven't heard that at all. Like the idea of resting anyone, I haven't really.
We were talking about it on TalkSport. I was driving to Boston earlier and they were talking about TalkSport.
Okay.
Do you know? It's what I know. Obviously, the way TalkSport works is they want you to call in, so they say stuff to get you annoyed. I'm fucking driving, listening to it, thinking, "What the fuck are you on about?"
You wanted to call them, didn't you?
Yeah.
You were almost going to call, I could imagine you. You're looking back, you have played these guys a few times. Back in 2013, back in 2012, was a couple of draws. Completely different team, I'd imagine, from back then.
Don't count for anything.
Wouldn't count for nothing, exactly. Yeah. For the gamblers out there, $8.50 on Ukraine, give me your money because I can't see Ukraine winning.
The only other thing that's worth mentioning, and then it shouldn't make a difference, is England's first game away from Wembley in the tournament. So they've had 4 games at Wembley so far. This is in Rome. So that's something worth mentioning. But it shouldn't. It's a neutral ground for Ukraine as well. It's not like we're going to Kiev.
Isn't there a thing where, ability, we had a lot of the Champions League and Europa League games after lockdown, and where some fans could go, other fans can't. And there's a current thing, and I think anyone who travels to Italy has to quarantine for 5 days before. There's ways around it, but UEFA are trying to discourage it. We'll fly it to another country and then fly
Toby, you're going to this game, are you?
No, I
next one.
Very drunkenly bought tickets to the semi-final.
Okay, so you need them to win this game to get to the semi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they opened up. So it's Wembley. So it's Wembley at semis and Wembley final.
What did you pay for them?
Oh, never mind.
No, but in hindsight.
Okay, what category did you get?
Category ones. That was the only ones that literally.
Hell.
Yeah. So and there's already been 2 people pulled out. So we got 12 tickets in total.
Message me how much you paid after.
Okay, yeah, we'll do. Anyone could look that up, but yeah, it's there's a few. There are actually a couple going now, so
yeah. Let me know after, because I'll probably be able to move them if I don't go myself. I'll know someone that wants them. So
yeah, sweet, cool.
Good this show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyone wants a ticket? Anyone want a ticket? Just yeah, we've got tickets too. And no, they're not free tickets. Yeah, where am I at now? That's thrown me. Okay, boys, England, Ukraine. Give me a prediction there. Give me, do you think, I see this as a 3-0 kind of game. I don't think Ukraine will score. So I'm thinking, but I'm at 2.5 over and on England. I'm possibly at Kane to score as well.
I wouldn't do anything on it because I don't think 1.4 is worth backing. But I think my prediction is England will be less than 1.4 at kickoff. 1.35, 1.3.
Yep. Okay.
Something like that.
Toby?
No solid betting or anything. Ideas.
No, just a prediction.
Ukraine. Clear England win. I don't expect them to score, which is why I actually think it's going to be 3-1. If I'm going to a game thinking that the other team aren't going to offer much, it's always that point when we concede. So yeah, I don't want us to, but yeah, 3-1.
Yep. Okay. Another shock result: Netherlands and Czech. The Czech beat them 2-0. I have always said, and I just never rated Frankie de Boer, the Netherlands manager. And I said all the time, the whole fucking thing, don't underestimate the Czech. And not so much don't underestimate them. It was more the Netherlands choking for me. I wasn't overly surprised that they lost and went out. I know there was a lot of people that were thinking a Netherlands victory. I know a lot of guys had their multis on it and whatnot. You're talking $1.57 to $6. I think I got the check at about $8 something, and I threw $10 on it. Just that the fact that they might get the result here. However, this Netherlands team, you got to keep in mind they didn't do any. They weren't in the last World Cup. A manager who I absolutely don't rate at all, and I think he'll get sacked.
He's gone already.
He's gone, is he?
Yeah,
okay,
he's left.
there you go.
Yeah,
he's gone. Okay. Yeah, boys, what do you think there? What was did you think a Netherlands victory? Were you thinking the Czech could get this done? Was it an upset for you? Well, it's definitely an upset. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't, but it was definitely an upset. But an upset that didn't overly surprise me.
I don't rate Holland. I've said it basically all throughout the tournament. I think they've, as I said, the manager was a joke, and then they've got too many players that turn up when things are going well. So when they were cruising in the group, you didn't notice that Dumfries actually can't defend, or Frankie de Jong is the best player in the world when you're winning 2-0 and anonymous when it's 0-0. Depay does nothing when you need him to, basically. I mean, you could go through their whole team. They got Stekelenburg goal. It was Everton's third choice for a while. Like Daley Blind is still wheeling out at centre back. De Ligt's obviously got a mistake in him, which showed in this game. Van Aanholt is fucking clubless, and still he's starting for Holland. Like, you could go through their whole team, and there's doubts about pretty much every player. I still expected them to win this, to be honest. Obviously, Czech were in England's group, and they didn't do anything against us. They beat Scotland, but they weren't great against Scotland, even though they won. They drew with Croatia, and a bit of a dodgy penalty. So, look, and if it weren't for the sending off, I probably would have still had Holland to win, but the sending off happened, and it was definitely a sending off. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I was never sold on Holland, and it's one of them. I expected Holland to win, but it's not like I'll tell you what, Switzerland's a bigger shock than this was for me. Switzerland beating France or going through against France was a much bigger shock than Czech Republic going through against Holland.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was probably the biggest shock for me. Some may argue Croatia and Spain because, once again, Spain haven't been that great, and Croatia were at the last World Cup final. So.
Yeah, but Croatia were dog shit in the group.
Apart from the last game. Yeah. Apart from the last game against Scotland, but still it's Scotland. So
well, but they're the only team that Scotland scored against as well.
Yeah, true.
Oh true. Yeah. Your thoughts on the Czech Netherlands, Toby?
Yeah, I can't really remember a lot from last week. I'll be honest, but I think I had Czechs going through. I could definitely be wrong. Okay. I need to look back, but
I'm not sure.
It was more just a mild excitement.
I think I said Netherlands to go through as well, but I'm like I'll back them in a multi to boost my odds, but I'm willing to throw $10 on Czech. That's where I'm at. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, I'm the best gambler ever or whatnot. Like I just covered both bases and was lucky at the $8.50 mark or something.
Yeah, well, I thought Netherlands had too much in attack to kind of to not go through comfortably, but as the game was going on. Completely lost that. They didn't do much at all. I think the one thing I can say about this game is: have you seen a red card for a handball outside the box where it was preventing a goal scoring opportunity like that De Ligt one? I've never seen. I don't think I've seen that before. I'm trying to think of another time that's happened.
Nothing comes to mind, but I definitely would have seen one. Especially, I mean, it was so deliberate as well. It was a joke. As I said, it wasn't anything new, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Like as soon as it happened, I was shouting red card at my TV, and if I'd never seen it before, I wouldn't be shouting. You know what I mean? You going, "Oh, it's a booking sort of thing." But I guess with a handball and a foul, it's the same sort of thing when you're on your edge area. Denying a goal scoring opportunity, the way you deny it doesn't matter outside the area. It does in the area. But outside the area, whether it's a handball, a rugby tackle, or you fly kick them in the face, if it goes down as a dog-so, denying a goal-scoring opportunity, then it doesn't matter how you've done that. It's a red card.
Yeah, I just had to have a look. I had to have a look myself, and just reading there, Schick, he was the last man, which was a clear opportunity at a goal apparently. So he was the last man. I don't know. I get what they're saying. I'm with you though, Toby. I can't ever remember that happening. But,
it was more. No, for me, it was just more the way it happened. I've never seen a defender kind of go at that. Mess up on so many different elements of it, and then end up kind of spooning the ball away with his hand. But anyway, doesn't matter too much. But yeah, I enjoyed the game, but was expecting a lot more from the Netherlands, and it didn't materialize, and then they lost any impetus as soon as that red card happened. I still thought they were in the game a bit, but yeah, as soon as they started scoring their goals, no chance.
It shows how mad football is, because I think it was something like 48 seconds before that Marlon had the one-on-one where he tried to go around the keeper and ran straight into him, and as I said, he scores that, they go 1-0 up, and from that point they win the game if they go 1-0 up. But 48 seconds later or something crazy like that, they're down to 10 men, and they never really looked in it after that. I was really impressed with his name is Holes. I don't care how the commentators are going to say it. I think it's Holesh. But he scored against us in the Europa League for Sparta at the Emirates. I thought he had an excellent game, got a goal and an assist. Wears number 9, but he's a DM basically, or deep line playmaker. I thought he was fucking excellent. It helps that they said his name non-stop. But and again, this is where someone like Frankie pisses me off. And I said the other day in the group chat, I have an irrational hate for him, and everyone jumped on me. The only reason they didn't kill me is because I said it was irrational. But I just think when everything's going well, he's fantastic. I watch him and I think you are amazing. But when shit gets hard, he doesn't drag the team up. He just fades into the background. And as I said, when I'm saying the best player on the pitch was basically his opposite number, that tells me something.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at moving the next game now. Wales, Denmark. Now, a few people said a bit of a shock for them. For me, it wasn't. I was Denmark convincingly. They will win this. I didn't expect 4-0. I think I said 3-0 at the time, 3-1, something along them lines. Mate, they were very convincingly, and they won this game easy. Like Wales, if Bale and Ramsey don't perform, well, that's kind of the end of Wales. I didn't think they were that convincing in the groups either, so that's why I had Denmark. I'm not saying Denmark did real great in their groups either, but keep in mind, Ericsson, had that. It was the first game, and I did say it's hard to move past that. You know what I mean? Like you're there as a team, and you're either going to go well or you're going to crumble. And hey, they come out against Wales swinging. They won this game convincingly. They played their last game. I think it was they lost it. I just can't remember now, but I thought they deserved to win that last game. It was one of the groups.
Oh, the Denmark.
Yeah,
no, Denmark won that last game. They needed to win it to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean
they lost
the second game. They lost the second
to Belgium,
game,
but they were very good.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of against Belgium. They were very good. Yeah. So anything out of that game, boys? Denmark into Wales, and then I'll get your predictions on Denmark, Czech.
Well, just to say, I missed this game, so I can't really offer much. But I do know that the Danish team on stats, I remember we talking about last week, on stats are head and shoulders above everyone for defence. Or not head and shoulders, but on par with other countries on defence, but also on par with the top nations as well. We're attacking threat as well. So I think I went for Wales purely emotionally, but I thought that Denmark would cruise to it, but yeah, I've only seen the highlights, so I can't really comment.
No, Denmark were very good. It was easy, to be honest. I don't think Wales really had a chance in the game off the top of my head. I did watch it. I'm just trying to remember it so long ago. It was the first game, I think.
Saturday midday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first of the last 16. But they were.
That's why I'm trying to remember it. I'm thinking to myself, when was that fucking game?
They were very good. Braithwaite looked good. Obviously, the guy, the Atalanta wing back, whose name has got letters that are joined together, so I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It begins with an M. He scored. He was unbelievable. He was fucking class. And then Thingy got two. The guy, the ex-Ajax player, Kasper Dolberg, looked good. Looked very good. It was a shock because they had a couple of injuries as well. Paulson was out. Yeah, Paulson was out and someone else was out, which kind of was a bit of surprise. But Dolberg stepped in and done the business. Very, very good first goal. Can't remember the second goal, but he scored it. So yeah, play to him. But no, they were very good. And look, I'd said that I'm not getting complacent with England, but the only team on that side of the draw that worries me is Denmark. I just think they're very good. They're high energy. They're playing. I hate the word passion in football because it's nonsense, but they're playing with that extra spring because of what happened to Ericsson. And look, they lost to Finland, and you can put that down to their mate essentially dying on the pitch and obviously being brought back to life. Then Belgium, they were very unlucky. They were excellent, and then Belgium scored two class goals, and then they battered Russia. And look, Russia don't tend to get steamrolled too often. Battered Russia, I think it's 4-1. I'm surprised at saying about their defensive stats because they conceded obviously to Finland, they conceded 2 to Belgium, they conceded against Russia. Obviously, they didn't concede against Wales, but yeah, I mean the pundits here were kind of going on Denmark had a better team, but Wales had the 2 best players on the pitch. This was before the game.
I see with their argument there though.
Yeah, but Denmark were just very good as a whole. I mean, it's a weird one because you look at their player for player and you should fancy it. I mean, they got Simon Kjær at the back who's been around forever and has never been top draw. Højbjerg's had a great tournament. I personally don't rate him. Christiansen, I think a bit above average. A lot of Chelsea fans rate him though, and they would know better. Kasper Schmeichel's good, but you don't put him in the top tier of keepers. Like Yuri Paulsen isn't in the top tier. Martin Braithwaite isn't in the top tier of players. But as a team, they do it. So you can't say too much. I mean, I know we're going to talk. I expect them to beat Czech Republic. It'll be a different game.
That was my next question. They're up against the Czech. I just looking here, $2.10 for the Czech. Wow. For Denmark, that's jump on. I just can't see them losing this game. $3.80 for the Czech. I'll go the votes. People are predicting the Czech.
Yeah, well, the difficulty is that Czech Republic have been very good at the back. I mean, we only scored one against them. Scotland didn't score. Croatia scored one, and obviously Holland didn't score. And Denmark haven't come up against that kind of team yet. Look, I'm just the Finland game doesn't count to me basically because with what happened, and Denmark haven't really come up against a defensive team. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about things. And that the only reason I wouldn't have a bet on the game because we've not seen Denmark play that style against that style. As I said, I expect Denmark to win. They're the better team for sure, but styles make games, as we all know. And how will Denmark do against a team that not parks the bus? That's unfair on Czech Republic, but defends deep and well. And we'll see.
They got to start Dolberg again, don't they?
I don't know if Poulsen's back fit again. I think Poulsen's a better player. I'm not even a big Poulsen fan, but I think he's better. Braithwaite played really well. You can't drop him. I'm not a fan of him. Or Braithwaite, whatever you want to say it. But
who's that bloke's name? Joke and Mail or whatever.
He's a good
that's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
That's the guy there.
The A and the E are like joined together. He plays for Atalanta. But yeah, he was excellent. He played left wing back and then switched to right wing back and scored. He just fantastic. Can't say I know a lot about him. I think they signed him in January from Genk or Ghent, one of the two.
Yeah,
that's as much as I know about him. But he's looked brilliant all tournament, to be fair.
And Czech got Patrick Schick. He's right up there on goals. I think he's scored
second.
Yeah, okay. He's playing really well. Good football. I still think Denmark for me. Where are you at, Toby? Denmark?
Not huge. So having not watched Denmark but seen them before, I think in terms of the stats for Denmark, it was in chances created and chances conceded rather than goals scored or anything like that. They were top of both those stats. That was coming out of the group stage, so and stats are stats. They don't mean sometimes don't mean a lot, but I predicted the Czechs to do well before the tournament started. So I'd love them to go through and get into the semi-finals just because they're not Denmark, but I think Denmark will win. I've no idea about the margin though.
I don't know. Like, you've got Dolberg, and if he comes out, he could, I don't know. I honestly could be. This could be a game that could go either way. The Czech are defensively good, so the form tells you 1-0 maybe. However, don't be surprised it's a 0-0 draw and it goes to extended time. It's one of them games that Denmark should win, but it won't be a 4-0 like they did to Wales.
So if I was advising someone to have a bet, I don't know the odds, but I would look at under 2.5. I think the odds will be okay because a lot of Denmark's games have been over that. Obviously, Wales was 4-0, Belgium was 2-1, Wales was Russia was 4-1. So the last three games have all been over that, but I don't see it as an open end-to-end game where either team's going to batter the other. And then all of Czech Republic's game have been under 2.5. So you've kind of got a clash of styles there. And if the price is decent, that would be probably what I would look at. But again, I wouldn't touch it, but that's what I would look at. No, it's like you want to have a bet on everything.
I have a crack on
game. You have to have something. Whereas I'll only go with things that really fancy. So if you're one of them people that wants to have a bet on everything, I would look at the under 2.5 goals personally.
Yep. Okay, boys, that's about it for the Euros. So those who don't follow Arsenal can switch off now because we're going to talk a bit of Arsenal news. We'll be back next week as well to talk the Euros on the semis and whatnot and go over the games. Tony, where are we? Arsenal news, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that Tavares is done. I can't say. I actually watched a compilation of him earlier, so I'm not going to say I rate him from YouTube, but I've seen a couple of his attributes because, to be honest, I've not heard of him. He played against us. I think he came on for 9 minutes or something stupid. Had a decent cross in that game, actually, which someone pointed out in the group chat earlier. But looks quick, looks strong. He's played on the right, played right wing before. So you can see he's that attacking kind of left back. But he's very, from what I've seen, and again, I've only seen a compilation. He's very he's not one of them defenders that backs off. He's sort of up your arse straight away, which will be interesting because Arsenal don't play like that. We've always had it winds me up. We've always had defenders that back off to try and let numbers get back, and that doesn't look like it will suit him. But going forward, it looks like his delivery looked quite good. He's had problems with Lisbon fans because he's not Lisbon, Benfica fans because he's outspoken apparently. Who knows how if that's going to be an issue with us, but it looks like that's done. I think they're reported it's all agreed. He's just got to have his medical, and they're trying to figure out the best way to do that, being COVID secure. So that looks like it's done. And then, by all accounts, Lukonga from Anderlecht looks like it's done. And again, I know less about him than I do about Tavares, and I've just told you absolutely everything I know about Tavares. So that shows my level of knowledge.
That Lukonga, he's a left back, so he'll be fighting.
That's Tavares.
Oh, is it Tavares? Is it okay? Where's Lukonga? Centre mid. Okay, right. Okay. So yeah, right. Just trying to get my head around it all as well, because I'm not going to sit here and say I watch them week in, week out. Be honest, I've never seen this Lukonga bloke play. I may have seen him, but didn't go, oh shit, keep an eye on him. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you. So, there was a couple of others as well. I'm just going to talk quickly about Granite again. For me, still goes, but they've got to look at. He goes. Okay, right. Okay, that's where you're at. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes, but I think anything positive with his performances and it not being signed, sealed, and delivered. I thought it was getting to a point where everything was kind of organised and it was happening. And then hearing reports about the price, and I thought the price from the offset was low, but then understood about contract. Xhaka wanted to leave and stuff. But it's kind of silly. I think 20 mil or even less that was being banning about is just far too little. And any kind of bidding war would be great. And I just hope that I think Juve don't really ever overextend themselves with players that they want. And I'm always nervous about the idea of being linked to a player.
I don't think
Allegri plays in the same position as Locatelli.
I don't think Allegri goes for Granite. No, I see reports Juve are coming out saying they're happy and it's looking at 18 mil. I wouldn't be surprised Arsenal's leaking that.
Yeah, because, I think he still goes to Roma. This will just get the price up, personally.
Yeah. I don't think he's an Allegri player. I just can't see Allegri even looking at him, but they do need it. I just can't see it. I can't see him at Juve at all. I don't know. Who else have we got now? There's some news coming out about Reece Nelson, or might have been last night, but I was still catching up on it.
Off on loan.
Hey?
So we're trying to get him to extend his contract, and then he might actually go on loan rather than refusing all the time, which is his usual habit.
Didn't he extend not that long ago, like last season, like last summer?
I don't think so, because I think that's the reason they wanted to extend before a loan, because I think he's got 2 years left. So if he goes on loan for a year, you don't want someone coming back with a year left. I could be. I know they want him to extend before a loan, but I could be wrong on contract length.
So, I mean, I don't know, but I just remember this from last summer with Hoffenheim before his move, and then was it last summer, even the year before?
No, must have been the year before. That was 3 years ago, though. It's 3 years ago he went to Hoffenheim.
Yeah, fair.
So 2 years back with us, and then obviously
lockdown messed up my timeline. But yeah, okay, that would make sense then. He needs to go, doesn't he? He needs to go on loan.
100%. Should have gone last summer. He should have gone in January. But I've always said on here, I think he likes the idea of being able to say he plays for Arsenal, even though he doesn't play. And he should have gone out and get minutes, and he hasn't. And look, maybe the Hoffenheim loan didn't go how he expected it to, and that's damaged his opinion. But he ain't going to make it at Arsenal. I mean, I don't think he'll make it anyway, to be honest. But he definitely ain't going to make it unless he goes and gets minutes elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree. The player I'm looking forward to is a bloke by the name of Ben White.
And why?
Is he coming or is he going? Is he not? What's happened there?
He's coming. He'll be done.
He's coming. Good.
So it's always hard to sign players in Euros and stuff anyway, but you can usually agree to get a medical done and whatnot. But at the moment, because of COVID bubbles, no one's allowed in and out of the camps. So I don't think there's been a single player that's signed for anyone that's been at the Euros apart from like free transfers. So Depay went to Barcelona. But I don't think there's hardly been any. Like Donnarumma's done to PSG, but they've not announced it because they can't get the medical and stuff done. So as far as I'm aware, I think Ben White's done, and within a couple of days of whenever England go out, it'll be sorted probably before he goes on his summer holiday. By all accounts, the fee's been agreed for a while. I mean, I said in the group chat, I don't know, it was about a week ago, that I'd heard it had been agreed, and then I think a few hours later, Ornstein came out and said it. The personal terms are not going to be a problem, so I think it's as good as done. Look, I hate the word done because nothing is until
I know
rubber stamp. But I think this is as close as you're going to get to being done without being done.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I like
it's like Sancho, right? So it's come out of all the big news today. Sancho's agreed, Man United, blah blah blah. That won't get done until after England are out. But the press are reporting it's done because it's as far as it can be with the current situation.
I just want to ask you quickly about that though, because I remember when we signed Aubameyang from Dortmund, they are a public company, so don't they have to get approval from their shareholders and that, and everybody knows anyway?
They make it public knowledge, but so they won't accept the offer till the last minute. It's the same as what happened with Aubameyang. They accepted the offer and then announced instantly that it was done. So at the moment they'll have agreed a price, but they won't make it public. It's actually interesting because both sides are leaking the figure that the deal's been done for.
Yeah, I know.
They're very different. So it'll be interesting to see what Dortmund announced to their shareholders. I mean, City can ruin it anyway because City get 15% of the profit, so they can confirm what it's worth. Because again, that's another reason it has to be made properly public because City have got to get paid.
City get paid. Yeah, okay, right.
Didn't think about that. I forgot about that. It's interesting.
Done for you though. That is.
Again, so the guy who gives me Man United team news told me this morning it was done, and then the press have gone mad on it about 7:00 today. But so the contract's not signed. He's agreed the money and everything. The fee's been agreed with the club, but he's not been able to do a medical or actually sign the thing because he's in the COVID bubble essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. Okay. Who else have we got on the radar? Anything else that's worth talking about there, boys?
There was that thing with Eddie earlier. I'd like to. I don't know if that's even a thing.
I'm still getting my head around that. Yeah, it was. His car was in an accident.
No, that was Ainsley.
Oh no, Ainsley.
That was
sorry,
Ainsley. Sorry, not Eddie. Yeah. Okay. We'll discuss Eddie because I haven't. Yeah. I don't. It's like 7:30 in the morning here, and when I started recording with you boys, so I'm still tuning in and catching up on what happened overnight.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie put a picture. Oh, go on.
No. I mean, you're going to be able to offer a lot more than I can with it.
No, so he put a picture up of him scoring a goal at the Emirates with 2 egg timers. We've offered him a new contract to try. Again, he's only got a year left. We want to sell him, but we don't want to sell a guy who's only got a year left. So apparently that's been rejected by him. But then, so the egg timer could be anything. They're back at training next week. So could he be saying, I'm back to football next week? Is he saying it's a short amount of time until I sign a new contract? Is he saying it's a short amount of time till I go? I know West Ham have asked about him and Brighton. So the guy who gives me West Ham team news is like, if anyone farts at West Ham, he knows about it. He's the most reliable. You would probably class him as an ITK, but he's not.
But he just knows. He knows what's going on.
Yeah. If he told me something and David Moyes told me something different, I would believe him. That's his level of. And he said last week that they were interested in Eddie, but there was a number of Premier League clubs, and Brighton was another one of them. So as I said, this Eddie putting a timer. Is it I'm about to go? Is it I'm about to sign a new contract? Is it I'm back to training on? Because usually they come back to training on the Monday, but they'll go in on the Friday to get their kit and do all the photos and shit. So is it I'm going to be back at the club in 2 days? Like, it doesn't tell you anything, but everyone's going mad about it, and everyone's going to add their own theories, like what it means.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Only because of the fact that every other kind of signing that's been, any youngster who's been looking at a contract, who's been thinking about it, and then eventually signing. Luckily for us, with Balogun, Saka. Don't know if Martinelli did the same thing, but this is all hearsay. Once, like you said, so I don't know. But I found it. I just thought that wondered if there was anything of note in the background. But
well, Smith Rowe's, I'll discuss that one. Smith Rowe, Villa keep coming out and saying there's a leak somewhere that he's bidded, and I'm not even sure where it's at. We keep rejecting. Are we concerned here that Smith Rowe might go? What price do Villa have to come up with here?
75.
Yeah, well, that Burge came out with that figure, didn't he? He said they need to bid at least 3 times what they bid, which is at 25.
Are you worried that this will happen?
No.
If Villa might panic later on if they lose Jack and get a lot of money for him, but I don't see any other thing. But sorry, go on, Tony.
For me, well, it's clearly a leak from Smith Rowe's agent because he's not signed the contract yet, and apparently they're a bit apart in negotiations. But look, this isn't gospel. This is just what I read, and it's available for anyone else to read. That Smith Rowe wants first team wages because he feels he's a solid part of the first team, and the club are more giving him not youngsters' wages, but someone with potential wages. Will a middle ground be found? I don't know, but apparently they're quite a way apart at the moment. But I can't see Emil wanting to go. I mean, I really don't understand. Even though Villa are probably getting encouragement from his agent to try and push Arsenal along and make the deal happen, I don't understand why Villa are bidding the numbers they are. Like, you just know 25 and then 30 million. You're just wasting people's time.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
That's what I don't get. As I said, I fully understand that they're almost certainly getting encouragement. I know how agents work.
Yeah.
But surely the agent's not saying, he's available for 25, because you know that's nonsense. Like, if Villa were coming in with 50s, and okay, the club might value him at 75, but then 50, like, that's a chunk of money, and okay, we might be worried here, but at 25, I'm just like, and then 30, I don't understand what Villa are playing at. I really don't.
Strange.
One of my Villa mates has been really confident and cocky about their transfer business, like moving in, and they see us and it almost like a competition. And this might be from their fan base, and I don't know why their club would be listening to their fan base, but their fan base have been going on about having this big war chest and wanting to steal our. They're taking our signs from us after Buendia. No, it's true. It's just more.
Yeah.
That's the opinion of a lot of the Villa fans. Is like they've got a lot of money. Yeah. They want to kind of chuck it out. They want to show that they've got ambition to possibly keep a certain player who is being linked to other players. So, like, the idea that maybe they're trying to show their ambition, buying players or bidding for players that have quality. From big teams.
So then they're fans. I mean, you might have mates that are saying it. I see it on Twitter. They're convinced that Grealish ain't going, and I think if they think they're buying Buendia for a 40 after add-ons and bidding for Smith Rowe, if they think Grealish is staying and they're getting them players, they're smoking the stuff you smoke probably.
What are you talking about?
NAA Gunner, I want to just touch on this. Tavares, is it? Tavares? Is that how he says it? He's 21, and I think he's asking a question or stating that he won't be registered. And I just your thoughts around that, and why? I guess.
So under 21s don't have to be registered, and if so, he's not under 21. He is 21. But if you're born after January 2000, it is this year. Obviously, it will change to 2001 next year. You don't have to be registered. So. You get 17 non-homegrown players in the squad that you're allowed. Obviously, he's not homegrown, but he wouldn't count as one of the 17 because of his age.
Right. Okay. So, fair enough.
That's why.
Yeah. No, that's all. I'd just seen it there, and I thought, I wonder why. Rick says, "Morning, boys," and he says it's coming home. Fuck off, Rick.
He knows his stuff, Rick.
Really?
By the sounds of things.
Always said he was a genius.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Rick from up in Queensland or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's an Aussie Rick or what.
Rick knows.
Rick knows. Fuck all. Just one more I want to touch on quickly before we wrap this up. Sanchez apparently dropped a massive hint, and it was in the Twitter thing. I don't know if you boys seen it or not. Instagram, yeah. So are we taking anything into that? Two players fuck arsing around. That's the way I see it.
They're ex-teammates as well. I can't see it, and I think he's a huge risk. He always looks good for Portugal. He flopped at Bayern Munich, didn't look great at Swansea. Yeah, he was young. He's been good at Lille, and obviously they're ex-teammates from Lille. But it'd be a lot of money because it's him, and he's not been known to flop before. I don't think there's anything in it. I actually really like what I see from him, but then I also go back and look at his Bayern stint and Swansea and think I liked him before that as well, because at Euro 2016 he was the guy, and that Bayern signed him off the back of that, and now 5 years later he's back to the guy again, but he's done nothing in the 5 years between. Or done one good season in the 5 years between. So I think it'd be a hell of a risk, but he looks very good. But as I said, I could have said that 5 years ago and nothing's changed.
Could we get him on loan?
No.
I don't think why would they? Lille.
They just won the league. They're in the Champions League. Look, Lille are a selling club. Obviously, we brought Pepe off them. We brought Gabriel from them. They sold. Was Osimhen there? Yeah, I think Osimhen was there. So they're a selling club. If you part of the money, they'll sell, regardless of if we're in the Champions League or not. But you won't get players out there cheap, and you fucking certainly won't get them on loan.
Okay. Well, Sanchez bought by Bayern just before that Euros. I remember because it was like, wow, they've got this amazing player, and then he developed so well over that, and it's exactly the same trajectory where he's had a really good season before the Euros for Lille. I hadn't seen him the year before. I don't know what he was doing then. And then
he comes on the radar and goes, doesn't he? It's like
he could be. Is he? I don't want to say put Pogba in this with Euros and players that play really well for their country and then don't so much for their club. I know he's played really well for Lille, but that's in France.
Well, we spoke about it the other week, didn't we? When the I don't know if you were on the show, Toby, but somebody asked how many players has people signed on the back of a World Cup or the Euros, and I guess this could be one. I don't know. He's playing well, but
he's playing well.
I agree.
Is it 80 mil they were saying, or 70 mil was rebuffed last year?
Really?
For him, was it? I think 60 or 70 mil was rebuffed by them, so it's going to be higher now. So that's the level we're talking. So
I don't think it would be. I know you're right. That's what the reports are saying. I don't know. I think they said that, but I think if someone put that money in front of them, they would take it. The French league in general is just been fucked financially. I mean, like everyone's been fucked, but French league, they've not got the global appeal because look, it's wrong, but it's seen as the Farmers League. I know people are fucking about, but that's how it's seen. So the Premier League, I know we had no crowds and stuff, but it still had all the TV deals. It still had Ireland.
If the French league's the Farmers League, I'd hate to see what you think of the A League. Anyway, boys, that's a wrap for us. We have been going for an hour and 44 minutes. I can't believe we somehow managed to just keep talking. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for downloading the podcast. You now can get us live. Punning Pirate Boys, thank you for tuning in earlier. Cheers, guys. We'll be back again next week. It'll be the same time. I don't know. I haven't looked at games and things yet.
I'm on England on Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're Saturday, so I don't think.
Use a Saturday game.
Yeah, then the semis.
Fingers crossed I'm at the semis then and won't be able to make it on. I think it's a Wednesday night, the second semi.
Yeah. So
Tuesday, Wednesday.
The two semis are the 6th and 7th. So we could do the Tuesday night, which is usually obviously our normal time, but we can't do the Wednesday.
Yeah. No, we'll probably do the Tuesday.
So the Tuesday night will be after the first semi.
Yep. Okay, we'll do that. And that'll be Wednesday morning for me. So for you guys in Australia listening, Wednesday morning it'll be the same time, 7:30 in the morning, and it'll be UK Tuesday night. I think 9:30, 10:30?
10:30.
10:30. Okay, guys, thank you, and thank you everybody for listening, downloading. I gotta say, keep smashing that subscribe button because that's apparently what everybody says. So smash that subscribe button on YouTube, and hit the fucking bell. Apparently, you got to hit a fucking bell as well. Anyway, guys, see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Adios.
It's not coming home.
Always coming home.
Always.